There are women who do not go unnoticed. She enters a place and the atmosphere changes. Not because she speaks loudly or calls attention, but because she carries a presence that cannot be explained. It's as if her soul says everything that her mouth holds back. If this makes sense to you, then it's because you were chosen. Chosen women have a glow that comes from within. And this glow bothers those who live in the shadows. It's not about beauty, fame, or achievements. It's something deeper. It's your light soul. It's your peace after the storm. It's your strength in moments that would destroy anyone else. This attracts, but also disturbs. You don't need to open your mouth to provoke reactions. Your presence alone exposes what many hide: insecurity, envy, falsehood, competition. Because your firmness without arrogance reveals what is real, and what is real bothers those who live for appearance. That's why, many times, you become a target without even understanding why. The truth is that the chosen woman does not fit in. She transforms. She brings change wherever she steps. She heals with simple words. She has discernment, faith, and sensitivity. But that same light that blesses also reveals. And when it reveals, it awakens what is unresolved in others. Envy begins there. It's not drama, it's spiritual. And it needs to be understood that way. Because when you understand the weight you carry, you also learn to protect yourself, to position yourself, to stay silent at the right moment, and to not let the envy of others extinguish your essence. You are not excessive. You are sensitive. And that is a gift. Today you will understand why envy pursues you. You will learn to name what you have always felt, but never knew how to explain. And most importantly, you will discover how to continue being you, without hiding. Subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell, and join us on this journey of healing, strength, and awareness. You are not alone. Some people can't even explain why, but they feel something different when you arrive. The atmosphere changes, the conversations change, even the mood changes. And you didn't even need to say a word. Your presence speaks for you. And this, for a chosen woman, is not new. It has always been like this. You just didn't understand why. You don't need to be the center of attention, nor do you have to make an effort to be seen. Your light does not come from what you wear, what you show, or what you achieve. It comes from within. It comes from your surrender, your faith, your truth. And this shines in a way that disturbs those who live in darkness. Your light reveals what many try to hide. It shows what is unresolved. It exposes what is disguised. That's why there are side glances, the unfunny jokes, the silences that turn into walls. The discomfort is not with you, but with what you carry. Your essence is your mark. And not everyone is ready for that. There are places where you enter and feel that something shuts down. The conversation stops. The smiles disappear. The energy changes. It's not paranoia, it's perception. Chosen women are sensitive to their environment. They sense before they see. And many times they carry this weight without knowing how to name it. But now you understand. It's your light activating what is hidden in others. It's not about you being perfect. It's about you being whole. You don't pretend. You don't mold yourself to please. And this truth is uncomfortable for those who still live for appearances. Some people prefer the company of those who hide because your authenticity forces them to look within. And looking within is not always easy. Your firmness without harshness scares them. Your faith without arrogance provokes. Your tranquility, even in difficult times, disturbs, because you are a living proof that it is possible to be strong without losing sweetness. That it's possible to be intense without being outrageous. That it's possible to be light, even in silence. Being light is not a choice you make every day. It is something that God placed in you. It is a gift, a calling, a purpose. And as the word says, you are the light of the world. Matthew 5:14. This means that your light is not meant to be hidden. It is meant to illuminate. It is meant to guide. It is meant to inspire. But remember, those who live in darkness do not see the light with joy. Sometimes they see it as a threat, as confrontation, as discomfort. That's why many will try to extinguish you, to silence you, to weaken you. But nothing can extinguish what God has ignited. Not envy, not rejection, not resistance. You were made to shine. This light you carry is a responsibility. It is also protection. Because where there is light, there is direction. There is life. There is transformation. Stay strong, even when you feel out of place. You were not born to fit in. You were born to make a difference. Your presence heals, cleanses, liberates. And yes, it also disturbs. But don't hide because of that. Those who are light must walk wisely. And you have already begun to understand. Now it's time to accept. You are not common. You are chosen. And your light is not an exaggeration. It is purpose. Envy does not always have to do with what you have achieved. It starts much earlier than that. It's not the car, the job, or the house. It's the shine in your eyes. It's the faith after the fall. It's your way of getting up without making a fuss. What bothers is not what you show. It's what you carry. Some people look at you and think, she doesn't have that much, but she bothers. And it's true. Because what you have is not on display. It's rooted. It's your peace when everything seems to crumble. It's your strength when no one is watching. It's your joy for no apparent reason. That wounds the ego of those who only know how to appear. Chosen women have something that the world does not understand. They rise after falls that others could not bear. They stand firm even after being rejected, betrayed, underestimated. And when they come back, they return even stronger, more serene, wiser. This scares those who expected to see you on the ground for longer. The envy hurts more when you understand you did nothing to provoke it. You were just you. And even so, it bothered. Because your identity reveals insecurities in others. Your freedom confronts emotional prisons. Your authenticity exposes those who still live hiding. And this touches wounds that are not yours. Some people are bothered by your silence, by your lightness, by your firmness disguised as sweetness. Because all of this shows a type of strength that cannot be bought, that cannot be taught, that cannot be copied. It is born in the soul. And only those who have gone through deserts with God understand the value of that. The woman who walks with God carries a peace that no one can understand. She doesn't need a stage to shine. She doesn't need likes to affirm herself. She doesn't need to compete with anyone. She simply walks. And as she walks, she exudes healing, direction, presence. This provokes envy in those who still live in constant comparison. Envy has no face. It does not scream, but it weighs. It appears in cold glances, in subtle comments, in absences at important moments. It appears when you shine, and no one comments. When you win, and the other is silent. And the soul feels. Because those who are sensitive perceive what the eyes do not show. You are not the problem. You are the mirror. Your light reveals what the other is trying to hide. And that's why many times you become a target. But God made you strong, and He made you sensitive for a reason. To perceive, to discern, to not be contaminated. You don't need to hide. You just need to know with whom to share what is yours. Your essence is rare. Your journey is unique. Your soul is alive. And this bothers those who are still extinguished inside. But you are not here to please. You are here to fulfill. Your role is to live your mission with truth, even if that causes discomfort, because your shine is not for show, it is to illuminate. Continue being you, in your way, in your time, with your truth. God made you this way for a reason, and what He placed in you no one can steal, not time, not envy, not heavy looks, because what is from within only grows with time. The envy that comes from afar is easier to deal with. You recognize it, distance yourself, and move on. But the one that truly hurts is the one disguised as love, as friendship, as partnership. It's the one that lives next door, sits at your table, comments on your posts, and in silence, hopes you stumble. You share an achievement and feel the atmosphere change. The person's smile comes off as forced. Their gaze shifts away. The words sound hollow. You try to ignore it, but you feel it. The vibe changes. The conversation cools. The support disappears. And deep down, your soul knows that which seemed affection carried hidden envy. Not all envy manifests with harsh words. Many come through false praise, dry presence, sudden disappearances. People who were with you in pain but cannot bear to see you succeeding. Because deep down, they preferred the fragile version of you to the strong version you are becoming. And that hurts, because it comes from those you trusted, from those you embraced, helped, prayed with. The break of expectation hurts more than a direct attack. The betrayal of the soul wounds in silence. But even this God allows, to show you who truly walks with you and who only accompanied you from afar. Chosen women feel first. They perceive first. Discernment is a gift. Even when the heart denies, the spirit warns. And the more sensitive you become spiritually, the clearer it gets. God begins to show you who truly rejoices, and who only smiles out of courtesy. And this type of revelation, no matter how painful it is liberating. You do not need to confront, nor expose. God Himself distances you. He breaks ties that seemed firm, but were corroding your roots. He reveals through silence, through distance, through situations that expose the truth of those nearby. And all of this is care. It is protection disguised as loss. Value those who vibrate with you in all phases, those who pray together, celebrate together, dream together. These people are gifts from God. They are relief in the midst of the journey. Because those who truly love do not feel envy. They feel pride. They feel joy. They feel that your shine does not extinguish anyone. On the contrary, it inspires. You deserve to surround your light with people who also shine, who do not fear your growth, who do not compete with your journey, people who recognize your worth without having to diminish their own. Because those who have light share, and those who have shadow always try to extinguish the light of others. If today you are realizing that the envy came from where you least expected, take a deep breath. The pain passes, the lesson remains, and the deliverance happens. God is aligning the circles around you, and those who cannot walk with your light simply will not be able to accompany you anymore. There are days when the body does not respond. You wake up tired, even after hours of sleep. Everything seems heavy, slow, confusing. It's not laziness. It's not just stress. It's your soul saying that something is wrong. And when the soul speaks, the body listens. Those who are chosen feel before they understand. They perceive before they see. The energy changes, and the body reacts. There come the back pains, the unexplained nausea, the insomnia that comes and goes. The mind races, the heart tightens. And the worst, you try to justify with simple things. But deep down, you know it's spiritual. Something is draining you. And it's not you. Chosen women are sensitive. And this sensitivity is spiritual, not emotional. You feel the environment. You pick up the energy of people. You perceive the vibe of a place. And when something is heavy, toxic, or ill-intentioned, your soul detects it, and your body reacts. It's a warning. It's protection. It's a gift that needs to be respected. Sometimes, it's only after meeting someone that you start to feel bad. You feel a weight that wasn't there before. The conversation seemed light, but the energy remained. Envy does not scream. It seeps in. And if you are not spiritually shielded, it enters you through invisible cracks. That's why it's so important to observe yourself. When your body starts to speak, stop and listen. Ask yourself, who was I with today? What did I hear? What did I let in through the door of my soul? God gives us signs all the time, but many times we ignore them thinking they are just in our heads. You are not exaggerating. Your fatigue has a spiritual origin. Your pain has an invisible source, and only prayer reveals what the eyes do not see. Shielding your energy, taking care of your spirit, keeping your connection with God active. All of this is as important as taking care of your physical health. It is part of your calling. Chosen women need to be well to fulfill their purpose. And you cannot carry light if your soul is extinguished. The body is a temple, and when the soul suffers, the temple weakens. That is why spiritual self-care is an act of obedience. When you protect yourself, you honor the mission you have received. Envy, when not confronted, makes you sick. But when detected, it loses strength. That's why, do not ignore what you feel. Do not normalize what your body is alerting you to. Not every attack is direct. Many times it comes in subtle, silent ways. But it is real. And you, who have been chosen, need to be attentive. Trust what you feel. Your sensitivity is a gift from God. Use it with discernment. Strengthen yourself in prayer. Care for your peace. And when your body speaks, silence the world and listen to your soul. Because God speaks in ways that only those who are chosen understand. Not everything needs to be said. Not every plan needs to be shared. Not every blessing needs to be announced. Silence for those who are chosen is not weakness. It is protection. It is discernment. It is a way of shielding what is being generated within the soul. What is born in secret blooms stronger. Talking too much can open unnecessary spiritual doors. Exposing too much weakens what is being built. There are blessings that crumble because they were shared before their time. There are achievements that do not evolve because they were placed in environments that could not honor them. Silence, many times, is the space where God works in peace. Chosen women learn to be quiet, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. They understand that there are things that should only be said to God, that the secret altar is more powerful than any post, that prayer in silence is worth more than 1,000 justifications. Because the enemy cannot attack what he does not know. You do not need to explain everything you do, nor justify your decisions, nor rebut everything that is said about you. Spiritual maturity teaches you that there are battles that are won in silence. That time responds better than the mouth. That presence speaks louder than discourse. Some people are only nearby to listen, to gather details, to seek gaps. When you talk too much, you hand over keys that the other can use against you, and not always out of direct malice. Sometimes out of envy, curiosity, competition. Silence closes doors that exposure flings wide open. Guarding what is sacred is not selfishness. It is care. It is honor. It is understanding that not everyone is ready to receive what God is doing in your life. Silence is the womb of promise. It is where ideas mature. It is where God's plan develops until it is ready to be revealed. Even Jesus often withdrew. He silenced. He distanced himself from the crowd to hear the voice of the Father. This teaches us something profound. The noise of the world can drown out divine direction. When you silence, you hear better. When you stop talking to everyone, you begin to hear more clearly who really matters. There is a time to speak, but there is a time to be silent. And being silent is also to trust. It is to say with your heart, God, I entrust this to your hands. And when you entrust it, God acts. He closes ears, blocks tongues, unravels ties. He defends you in the invisible, while you protect yourself in silence. The woman who is silent with wisdom does not nullify herself. She preserves herself. She chooses where her voice is a seed, and where it would simply be waste. She knows that her energy is too valuable to be wasted on those who do not want to listen, only to criticize. Silence is a shield, but it is also a sword. If today you feel the desire to retreat, not to tell, to keep to yourself, respect that. It may be God asking you for silence, so He can work without interference. It is not isolation. It is shielding. It is spiritual wisdom. It is preparation for something that will only be revealed at the right time. While the world shouts, those who are chosen listen. They listen to the body, listen to the soul, listen to God. And when they speak with purpose. They speak with anointing. They speak with authority. Because those who knew how to be silent carry the weight and power of revelation. Taking care of the soul is just as important as taking care of the body. Perhaps even more, because when the soul gets sick, everything around it crumbles. The chosen woman understands that her shine does not come from what she wears, but from what she carries within. Therefore, she needs to shield herself. She needs to protect her light as one protects something sacred. You are not at war with people. You are at war with energies. Against heavy environments, cursed words, tossed thoughts. And this battle is silent, but constant. That is why your protection cannot be occasional. It needs to be daily. It needs to be conscious. The soul needs discipline, routine, spiritual shielding. Praise is not just music. It is the cleansing of the environment. When you worship, the atmosphere changes. The weight leaves. The light enters. Prayer is armor. When you pray, you adorn yourself. When you fast, you strengthen the spirit. When you give thanks, you elevate your frequency. They are simple yet powerful tools, and chosen women do not live without them. Your presence. When you respond to everything, you wear yourself out. When you choose where to position yourself, you strengthen yourself. Some people provoke just to take you off focus. They wait for a response to use against you. And when you're silent, that disarms. Because silence breaks the cycle. It shows that you do not need to prove anything. That your peace is worth more than a momentary victory. That maturity is knowing when to retreat. Responding is not always strength. Sometimes it is disguised weakness. True strength is controlling what you could explode. It is being silent when pride wants to shout. It is choosing peace when the world demands confrontation. This is not cowardice, it is self-control. And those who are chosen learn to master even their own silence. There are battles that are not yours. They are God's. And when you understand that, you stop trying to win everything alone. The word is clear. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. Exodus 14:14. There are battles that you only win when you stop fighting and start trusting. Many times, the provocation is spiritual. It does not come from the person, but from the spirit that moves them. And you do not combat spirit with discussion. You combat it with fasting, prayer, and wisdom. The enemy feeds on your lack of self-control. When you are silent, he loses access, and heaven covers you. Being indifferent to evil is a way of overcoming it, not with coldness, but with firmness, with posture, with discernment, with the awareness that your mission is greater than proving your point. The woman who understands this becomes untouchable, because no one can reach those who do not enter the game. And when they ask why you didn't respond, say, "It wasn't my war." When they try to provoke you again, remember, those who walk with God do not waste time on what does not edify. You are not here to react to everything. You are here to build, to heal, to illuminate. Your energy is too precious to be wasted on cheap provocations. And when you realize this, everything changes. You conserve yourself. You strengthen yourself. You move forward steadily, lightly, in peace. And those who tried to bring you down will be puzzled by how your faith remains intact, even in silence. The woman who has learned to be silent at the right time has also learned to hear God more clearly. Because the noise of provocations drowns out the voice of the Spirit, but silence attracts heaven. And it is there, in that sacred space, that you win, even without saying a word.